got a glimpse of some action scenes with Taskmaster in the MCU's Thunderbolts trailer, and while they look cool, I'm not super excited about it. Maybe I'm just biased because I really want to see the original Taskmaster. In the comics, Taskmaster is Tony Masters, but the MCU switched it up and made Taskmaster Antonia Dreykov. This was a last-minute writing change for the Black Widow movie, which is probably why it feels a little off. They used a male stunt double and CGI'd Antonia's head onto him, which looked kind of weird in the final cut. Honestly, her character comes off more like Red Widow in terms of writing. I'm not saying they should get rid of Antonia, I just think it would be awesome if both characters could exist in the MCU. I think they could totally bring Tony Masters into the MCU as a villain in Thunderbolts. He could be the original blueprint for the Taskmaster protocol, which is how Antonia ties into the story. Imagine Yelena coming across this new Taskmaster and tracking down Antonia to figure out what's going on. This could lead to some seriously cool moments, like a showdown between two Taskmasters. Just picture them copying different superhero moves against each other, or even trying to mimic each other's moves at the same time. With the right choreography, it could easily be one of the most epic hand-to-hand fights in the MCU. Another cool idea would be to make Tony Masters the Captain America that Red Guardian fought all those years ago. He has the shield, the super soldier serum, and could have studied old Cap footage to mimic his moves. Makes a lot of sense. That would add even more character connections and create some fun moments for the movie. I also kinda hoped we'd see him pop up in Deadpool and Wolverine as a cameo. Taskmaster and Deadpool always have such fun interactions, and it would have been awesome to see. Since it's an alternate universe, they wouldn't even have needed to explain his presence if they decided to introduce him. If they did bring Taskmaster into Deadpool and Wolverine, they'd have to do it justice. Taskmaster has such a tragic backstory in the comics. The character's origin was one of the biggest changes when they adapted him for the MCU. He went from a snarky henchman-training anti-villain to the silent, deadly assassin we saw in Black Widow. One of the biggest changes was his backstory. While the MCU's Taskmaster definitely has a tragic origin, it doesn't hold a candle to the comics version. In the comics, Taskmaster actually started off as someone who could have been a hero, but eventually became a morally ambiguous mercenary, which adds a whole lot more depth and complexity to his story. In the MCU, Antonia Dreykov is the daughter of General Dreykov, one of the leaders of the Red Room. While she was innocent, she got caught in the crossfire when Natasha Romanoff tried to assassinate her father, which led to her apparent death at Black Widow's hands. However, Antonia survived, though she was severely injured. Dreykov then inserted a chip into her that suppressed her pain and emotions, effectively turning her into a weapon for his continued operations in the Red Room. On the other hand, the Taskmaster of Earth 616 has a completely different backstory. Born Tony Masters, he had the unique ability to copy the movements of anyone he observed. Unlike Antonia, whose abilities come from her suit's technology, Tony's powers were innate. In the second Taskmaster miniseries by Fred Van Lente and Jeff DiPaolo, it's revealed that he joined S.H.I.E.L.D. and became one of their top agents. He even found love with his field partner Mercedes, and they got married, adding an emotional layer to his character that's missing from the MCU version. Eventually, Tony Masters and his wife were tasked with confronting Horst Gorscht, a medical officer from World War II who had created a corrupted version of the super soldier serum that transformed Steve Rogers into Captain America. Not long before the present day, Masters was sent on a mission to deal with Gorscht. During this mission, he discovered that Gorscht had developed a new form of serum that enhanced the mind rather than the body, allowing the subject to instantly absorb knowledge and improve short-term memory. Eager to become the best agent he could be, Masters used the only available sample on himself. This unlocked the full potential of his abilities, but at a terrible cost. He lost all his memories, including those of his life and his relationship with Mercedes. Although he could still adapt quickly and learn new skills, Masters no longer remembered his own history. In response, Mercedes took on the role of Taskmaster's handler, directing him in the field as the support for a supposed criminal mastermind called the Org. This setup allowed them to continue working towards S.H.I.E.L.D.'s interests, even if Taskmaster himself didn't remember it. It also gave Mercedes the chance to stay close to Tony, hoping she could eventually help him regain his lost memories. Fighting alongside Mercedes again in Taskmaster brings back some specific memories of their past relationship, but in the process, Tony is forced to push his abilities to the limit to save her life. This comes at the cost of his memories once more, and the cycle continues. Taskmaster, a man who once had the potential to be a hero, is reduced to a highly skilled mercenary who doesn't remember the wife desperately trying to help him find his way back. It's a really heartbreaking reveal, and it subtly suggests that the comics version of Taskmaster may have always had some heroic potential buried beneath his mercenary exterior. The differences between the MCU and comic versions of Taskmaster extend beyond their backstories and into their powers and abilities. In the MCU, Taskmaster's abilities are shown as being more reliant on technology, especially through her suit, which allows her to replicate the fighting styles and skills of others. Her core power is photographic reflexes, enabling her to mimic any move she observes. After watching the Avengers in combat, she was able to replicate their abilities and use them in high-stakes missions. This includes mimicking fighting styles and weapon mastery, such as Captain America's shield and Hawkeye's bow. In terms of abilities, the MCU Taskmaster is shown as a master martial artist, capable of handling hand-to-hand combat with ease thanks to the styles she copied from the Avengers. She demonstrates her prowess during her battles with Black Widow, even managing to hold her own against both Natasha and Red Guardian, who had been enhanced by a Soviet version of the Super Soldier Serum. In addition to martial arts, she also possesses shield mastery after mimicking Captain America's techniques. Taskmaster is also skilled with swords and knives, particularly using them in combat after studying the Winter Soldier's techniques. Her master marksman abilities allow her to use weapons like Hawkeye's bow and arrows or the Winter Soldier's firearms with expert precision. Finally, she has master acrobat skills, thanks to mimicking the agility of Black Widow and Spider-Man. However, if the MCU decides to keep Antonia as the only Taskmaster, I'm not opposed to that either, though of course it would depend on how they handle it. As long as it's done well, I'm fine with whatever direction they choose. This is just my speculation though. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section down below. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on this and other exciting upcoming movies. See you next time!